It is October 7th, 2025. And sorry, women, you're getting replaced. If it wasn't the artificial wombs, now they're cooking embryos out of human skin. And speaking of genetic freaks, we're going to talk about giant pumpkins. This is Inverted World Live. Hello, world. Welcome back. This is Inverted World Live. I'm your host, Shane Cashman. We're very happy you're here. In about 30 or so minutes, we're going to get to phone calls. If you'd like to call in and share a spooky story, the link to call in is pinned in the chat on Rumble and YouTube. And it's audio only. You will be a disembodied voice broadcast out into the universe for all to hear your story about maybe cryptids, alien abductions, sleep paralysis, you name it. Anything goes. There's no theme. And you can call in to talk about something we have discussed in the first portion of this show. I am, of course, joined by Brandon.
What's up, Shane? What's up, everybody? Welcome back for a little Tuesday rodeo here on Inverted World Live. We got a fun one lined up for you. Let's get weird.
You guys notice what Brandon's done here? I got a little bit of a glow happening. He's set little fires in the corners of the room. It's quite special. Looks good. I love it, dude.
Makes me sound like a pyro, which I'm not really denying. But
yeah. No, it's fun. Fire's fun. But it looks great. And thank you, dude. I love it. We're always tweaking here. Not personally, but not personally.
And so are some of our callers.
This might be true. Hello, everybody. And we're glad you're here. So where do we start? These embryos, these scientists just don't know where to stop. I personally think that this tech progress, Silicon Valley is the biggest threat to the future of humanity. I mean, we could talk about Marxism and all the evil that it brings, but there's something so dystopian about the things that they keep cooking up. And so today's news is about creating human embryos out of skin. So we don't need women anymore. You might remember about a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, we talked about the artificial womb factories. And that is a pipe dream, maybe not a pipe dream, just a dream of people such as Elon Musk. They want to build factories, artificial womb factories, filled with 30,000 artificial wombs. These are robots with babies inside of them. And the next step would be just, we don't need women at all to create anything. We can just create it out of some skin. And we're going to talk about that. Let's pull up, Brandon, some of these videos. We'll pull up the first one about the embryos, about today's news, because I love listening to local news stations talk about this kind of stuff. I love their tone. I love seeing how they talk about it. We're going to do that one first. And I do have an article about it. And then I want to get into something that's been happening already for years now, which is the synthetic embryos. But first, we'll start with today's new progress with skin embryos.
Which give me 1 second to get to this.
I'm just admiring the fire behind me. It's making me maybe less red. Do I have less rosacea on the screen?
It was in the hopes that it would make you just a wee bit less red to the public, I guess.
I swear I'm not this red in the real world. But well, as Brandon pulls that up, we can talk about how, these are the things that I think are so deranged. The other thing we talked about a few months ago, which I don't stop thinking about, is how they've developed.
Is that it?
Is that there's another one. Yeah, we'll do that one next. Okay. How they've been creating little human brains in labs. They have human brains that are running computers, but they also have rat brains that are they call them organoids, and they're hooked up. The rat brains in particular are hooked up to simulations, and this is like 15, maybe 10 or 15 years old now. They had in some laboratory rat brains hooked up to a simulator where they were collectively flying a fighter jet.
Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's listen to this. Maybe we'll stop here and there throughout, but let's hear what they have to say about these lab-made human eggs.
The rules of birth a medical revolution may be on the horizon, scientists say babies could soon be born without biological mothers, from stem cells to artificial wombs. The future of childbirth may look very different from the world we know today. The study, published in the journal named Nature and led by Oregon Health and Science University, has significantly changed the game in terms of infertility treatment. Scientists claim they've created early-stage human embryos using other skin cells that could come from someone other than the biological mother. What's even more interesting is that the skin cells do not need to come from a woman. This essentially means same-sex couples or even a single parent might create life without relying on a donor egg.
I just want to say hello to everyone who's joined us from IRL. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about how science is working on replacing women. We already know about the artificial womb factories that people like Elon want to build, where they're putting babies in robots. But now we can totally just not use women, which is what the people in Silicon Valley really want. You know, like, what does Sam Altman need with a woman? That lizard freak. So now they are creating embryos from skin, and as you just heard, they can do it without even using a woman at all. It can just be a male. Brandon, do you have any thoughts before we go back into this?
Oh, I have several. I'm going to keep them to myself right now while I
yes,
kind of soak this up. Let's keep this going here.
Let's do it.
As for how this process works, the researchers extracted the nucleus, which contains the entire genetic code needed to construct a person's body, and placed it inside a donor egg that had had its genetic code removed. This is a similar technique that scientists have used to clone animals. However, the egg must discard half of its 46 chromosomes before being fertilized with a man's sperm. The study says 82 functional eggs were created and fertilized, eventually progressing to the 60-day, that is 6-day stage.
Wow. But so far, I think the system is doing it wrong, even though we're getting rid of half of chromosomes, but it matters which chromosomes remain inside. So that's actually our ongoing research to kind of help the egg to sort out what chromosomes actually keep inside.
However, the process is far from perfect. Further research will see experts look into the possibility
This is just
of
a
how
witch
women
with a cauldron
experiencing infertility problems
of lab-made
could benefit from
embryos.
this process.
She's got kind of a witch's nose, too.
It's a
I
witch.
could totally see that.
Yes.
Like if she was dressed as a witch, I wouldn't know the difference.
Yep. Oh, look, it even says down here, on the Chiron, artificial wombs challenge nature's oldest. You can pause it here. This cameraman just decided to do like 3 minutes of the witch with the cauldron of embryos. This is wild stuff, guys. We're totally going to bypass nature, which we've been doing. This is the progression. When he's talking about removing chromosomes, you can see how that then fits in with something like Orchid, which is another one of those Teal-funded. It's a Teal fellow running this eugenics program where, you know, it's IVF at face value, but it's beyond IVF. It's where they say we can take out certain diseases or stuff in, you know, that might be in your family's genetic history and remove these things. The problem being with a lot of the critics, and I agree with the critics, is that how do you know what the success rate is? They've claimed to have made many babies through Orchid, through that version of IVF, but you know they're saying they can remove things like schizophrenia, but this just started. They're saying they're successful, but schizophrenia doesn't show up for decades. You know, in your late teens typically, or in your 20s. So how do you know if that's going to work out? And they do that for any type of things. But of course, it'll evolve into designer babies, which is what people want. You know, we want a kid looks like this, does this. Maybe we want to breed a kid for basketball. Give me Kobe. You know, give me someone with blonde hair and blue eyes, perhaps. You know, any flavor you want, you can have. That is literally playing God. I disagree with it. And it's the same thing it's across the board with all these types of companies that say they're not playing God. And they say they're only doing it to help you, like the Cloud Man and Rainmaker. They don't really understand, or they might, but they don't let on that we all understand that there will be unintended consequences especially if they keep messing with the sky and what that does to the soil. But obviously, messing with humans, you know, I have a complicated view of IVF. We had a discussion with someone who called in about IVF. It's because I am extremely pro-family. So how could I deny someone the ability to have a family? I actually saw a Charlie Kirk video recently where he was talking about IVF, and he seemed to struggle with the same thing I did. He put it way better than me, basically saying he's, as someone who's pro-family, he's okay with IVF. However, and this is how I also feel, maybe there's a way to make it so we don't create a bunch of embryos that do get destroyed, because that is what's happening right now. They're creating a lot of embryos that do just get destroyed. I think that's a life. I don't agree with that. And he was saying maybe there's a way to make it where you only implant the embryos you're willing to have.
Maybe it's not the greatest joke to tell right now, but
let's hear it.
You know, you got to crack some eggs in order to make an omelet.
No,
right?
no, not in this case. But good. But that is a good one.
I mean, think about it. If they're really going to do this, there's going to be risk factors involved. You can't have creation without deletion on some kind of a scale.
I mean, but what they're doing with this and this ability to then just say we can create people with totally bypassing nature. It's going to be, you know, people could argue then that's what IVF is doing. I still think it's a little different. And like I said, I still struggle with it. I don't want to ban it. I just want people to do it respectfully.
This
you know
is
what I mean?
the same thing as the robot situation, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So you could break down the pros and the cons of this, right?
Yeah.
The pros. We're lacking in certain parts of industry.
Mm-hmm.
We need electricians. We need plumbers. Mm-hmm. Hey, boom. We just bred
Mario.
We got a bunch
Luigi.
of fresh 18-year-olds coming off the batch that are
Right.
plumbers and electricians that are ready to get out there and just take whatever job we force them into.
So you're going to create slaves.
Exactly. Now, the adverse of that is creating slave soldiers.
Right, which is what they want.
Beefing up the military, sending in lives that don't matter, that no one cares about.
Right.
You don't have moms, widows back home because these people were created in tubes.
Yeah.
So they're expendable to every given level, other than what they're worth, which they probably make them pay off during the course of their career. Hey, guess what? You cost $250,000 to make. So you're going to work for us for 20 years to pay off the debt of your creation. And then when you're free and slate, well, we'll send you back and you could become a veteran. And then we'll just take away all your health care and rights and stuff like that because you don't need them. You're a clone.
That seems so plausible to me and probably not that far away. The difference between the robot and this, I don't even know how I feel yet. I'm just going to talk about it now and see where I land. The robots we know don't have souls, although I know there's people out there who might disagree. We know there's people who've married robots. Do these genetic freaks have souls? If they're created from human skin, totally bypassing a woman altogether.
If they're not, then what sets them apart from the machines?
Right.
Now what? You're going to have a kid that's branded with a barcode at its birth and given a tax ID number right off the bat?
Which is kind of like us right now.
That's one way to boost the economy.
I don't agree with it. Even though I don't agree with the process they've made
It's
them, I just don't
man.
know. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. Because IVF still includes a woman. This is completely different. Completely different. And
and that's the thing is anybody can just come donate tissue to have this done.
Dude.
You know? I mean, it's probably going to cost to have it replicated for you, but if they're just taking tissue samples off of dead people.
Oh. You could just make that dead person again.
Clones.
You can just make the dead person once again. That is what's going to happen. And we know, MK Ultra, in many reasons, in many regards, was created to help create super soldiers. This is the government, the military-industrial complex. This is like their wet dream. How can we just make, like what you're saying, a bunch of soldiers that are expendable? That's some wild stuff. And also, I'm forgetting exactly how he put it, but when we had Brad Binkley on, highly recommend going and finding that episode. We had him on for about 30 minutes, and he talked about Epstein people who funded Epstein and vice versa, I guess. Scientists, people in the military who are doing projects, and it's names that we don't usually hear about. So that his interview was great, but he was talking about a program that the military was doing to basically erase like the feelings and emotions from a soldier, so there would be no PTSD. I forget the name of that phrase, but it was crazy. But this would fall right in line. Holly Movie Star, thank you for the super chat. You said, without parents, the state will be the ward of them. Truth. And that never goes well. That never, like that, the people, a lot of the leftists, and there's people on the right too, who look at the government as their father and mother, which is pathetic. But that is what a lot of people see the government as your parent. And it should not be. We should dominate it, and it should be very small. So Carol said sleeper cells. Is that a double entendre? Beautiful. So let's go to that other video you had pulled up. This is, I believe, from 4 years ago, and they're talking about synthetic embryos, a bit different, I believe. I just came across it earlier, and we'll listen to the whole thing. At first, I was like, we'll just skip to a certain part, but I think it's worth hearing the whole thing.
Medical breakthrough.
This girl's a
Scientists in
clone,
the UK
obviously.
say they've created synthetic human embryos using stem cells. The structures don't have a beating heart or the beginnings of a brain, but they do include cells that would form the placenta. Scientists say it could aid research in genetic disorders. Critics say it raises serious ethical and legal questions. So joining me now to talk a little bit more about this is healthcare expert Todd Furness. Thank you so much for your time, Todd.
Thanks for having me today.
So Todd, these embryos aren't exactly human, but there's still a lot we could learn from them.
Well, that's the thinking right now. And just to be clear, I think we need to kind of set the table for the conversation in terms of stating where we are in this process, if that's okay. First, it's a claim that was made by Professor Zernica Getz, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that name, at a plenary session at the International Society of Stem Cell Research. It has not been published in a peer-reviewed journal yet. So that doesn't mean that there's no reason to believe it hadn't happened. It just means that it's early in the process, and we have much to learn yet from this published study when it becomes published. But there are a lot of implications here, and it's going to be we have a lot to unpack.
Yeah, definitely a lot to unpack.
Do you trust
So
that
they
smile,
don't have
Brandon?
A heartbeat or the beginnings of
How
a
do you feel
brain.
about that
Is there an
smile?
argument?
Looks like an organid to me.
I don't
in a
trust his
suit.
head.
This is a lab-grown brain in a suit from Sears.
I don't know what he's even trying to tell us right now. Like, let's
Argument to be made
give
that
me something
they aren't
here.
alive, and therefore the ethical questions, they just don't apply here.
Well, this is a very rich conversation for a rich topic of conversation, I should say. The legal limit for how long these tissues can evolve is 14 days. So they're not permitted to go beyond that.
Holy shit. Okay, wait a minute. There is a law in
Got
place
law on the books for these. Yeah.
that says that if you create something and it lives, it can't live longer than 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it begs the question, as we discussed last night, I think, about Bill Clinton and what happened in the 90s with cloning. They're doing this. They're doing cloning. Despite what Bill Clinton said to ease the paranoia of the 90s when the cloning panic happened, they're doing it.
Holy shit.
They're 100% doing it.
14 days.
Yep. You got 2 weeks.
I'm interested in who's in control of funding all of this shit, because if they try to say that they're pro-life...
How do you think they made all those Bidens? They grew them in a lab.
Oh, I don't doubt it. But that's kind of screwed up because, I mean, if they did, those Bidens weren't allowed to live longer than 2 weeks.
No, they had a big... after he lost the election, they started having major bonfires.
In
for
my
all the,
head, they replaced him
expired
every
Bidens.
14 days. That is now the new
They had
narrative
to.
running around
Yeah.
in my head, and I think I want to leave it there.
That's why
for a
some
little
were
while.
taller, some were rotting quicker,
Some
were
skins
slower.
were tagged on the back, yeah,
Different
and you could
ears.
grab them by the scruff of the neck and
Yep.
pick them up, and
Yep.
they'd be like, you know.
This
All right.
gets real spicy around the 2-minute mark, so we're almost there. This gets interesting.
That means that it doesn't have a heartbeat yet, and it doesn't have a brain. It doesn't have cognitive capability or even impulses yet. So it's difficult to determine that it's necessarily, quote unquote, alive.
And there is the argument for abortion right there, wrapped up in a tight little package. Say what you will. That's the conversation.
Right.
And they're trying to now have it with us when it comes to creating things on their
Of course. Yep.
own. So
Gotta love it.
start pointing out hypocrites where you see them. Because I think we're going to see a lot of them here.
And I think theologians and many would have an argument as to whether or not it is alive. But it still raises a tremendous number of moral, ethical, legal, and countless other issues that we kind of have to categorize in order to even try and unpack individually.
Yeah, it's crazy, but really just awesome where
you
science is
pause it?
going.
Can you pause it?
Does this mean that we are another...
Someone, I'm sorry I missed it in the chat, but someone said, oh, and here we go. John said News Nation might be fully AI already. It looks like it's fully AI, but I just want to point out that she's now saying it's awesome. She started off by saying this has serious ethical and legal concerns, and now it's awesome, and she's smiling.
This is awesome.
Yeah, and this is where it gets interesting.
Are we going?
Yeah,
back in?
let's hear. Yeah.
This is I'm dying with this right now, honestly.
Well, we can bring it right back. I got some
Step
human skin over
closer
there.
to human cloning.
Well, I think that's a good idea, meaning a good transition. And I think the word awesome is interesting, an interesting choice of words in that it is awe-inspiring, meaning it's amazing to think about the ability to create human life ultimately, if that's a possibility. The question is, what are we going to use this for? And the argument that researchers are making is that we could use this to understand things like miscarriages and developmental abnormalities and
understand
other medical
them
issues that we would learn how to either prevent.
He's acting like we're going to learn something new that we don't already know.
Yeah, he's just throwing stuff out there. He's only trying to ease it into the like collective consciousness now that this is a thing that's happening, and he's pointing to things that will register emotionally with the audience.
These are fake pros he's throwing in here against the cons. Fake pros, not even real ones.
Yep.
Or avoid in the future. I think there's a whole nother body of work which includes things like genetic editing, which just kind of
there it is, Shane. He said it. Genetic editing.
And that's Orchid. You know, so I don't know when Orchid started, but they're big right now, and they got all that teal money. But that is what they're doing, and they haven't released the numbers of how many babies, but I highly recommend looking up the Orchid interview with Ross Douthat. She's real smug, that one, kind of like our Cloudman friend, very very similar. They all sound the same. She doesn't have a mullet though. But yeah, we'll finish this one out. Let's see what other depraved things are happening
in
here.
parallel with, and then you have all sorts of questions that the neuroscientists and neuroethicists and the bioethicists are going to want to tap into. So there's a lot to work on here before we get to a place where we can actually clone a human being.
Yeah, but it definitely sounds like, Todd, thank you for that. It sounds like we definitely have a lot of legal implications to get through first before that's ever going to happen.
Huh?
Yes, indeed. And I think that one of the things that this is going to sound a little strange, perhaps, but for example, whose embryo is this? If it's born in a quote unquote petri dish, for lack of a better term, whose embryo is it? Is it the states? Is it the research labs? Is it the people who donated the stem cells themselves? And then what happens if we do get past that 14-day period?
No, so with the word donate, it ends at waiver. They are going to have you sign something, whether you read it or not, that is going to forfeit all of your rights to this creation.
They will.
So don't even consider that to be a thing, guaranteed. Unless you are paying them a shit ton of money to keep your name and everything on it, I don't think they're going to let people have these back. At least not for the foreseeable future, or at least the beginning of this project. I don't see that being a thing.
So scary.
At what point does it move from a living thing, like a plant or an animal that's not human, into the developmental of moral status and human rights?
So he's already referring to it as it as well. So he doesn't believe any more than we do that this is a living thing.
Nope.
Or that it's real, like tangible, real human.
Yep.
Which means they'll always, no matter what, be looked at like
Less than
processed, you know, test tube babies. That's
like
basically
Bill
what he
Gates
said.
butter. Yep.
That's a whole nother set of questions. So the way that the law in each individual country, and to be clear, the race is on. This research is being done in China. It's being done in Israel. It's being done in the United States. It's
Guys,
being done in England.
every time we hear these conversations, whether it's cloud seeding, AI, quantum computing, it's always about, it's the new Cold War. And they've been saying that about AI since Trump 2.0 second day in office, when China released their AI that everyone said was so good, but because they stole some chips from us, I guess, they said that was like, this is the beginning of the space race, basically, but for AI. But they apply that to everything. And that's to also make it acceptable to everyone, like, oh, we got to win then, you know? I think this stuff needs to be shut down. And I hate regulation. But I do think at a certain point, when it comes to really big ethical concerns that will destroy the future, like maybe Maybe we should just say, like, we can't do this.
I mean, then come the rebuttals of, okay, this is necessary for the continuation of man. What happens if we have an extinction level event that wipes out the entire population of the planet, except for just a handful of scientists or people that have the code? What if it's one of those things where they've got these things frozen on ice and they're the only thing to survive, and somehow humanity rehatches out of this after an ELE?
I would say it's not humanity.
No, but, well, who's to say that they're not going to take these anyway and just stick them in a bunker for the hell of it?
They will, like that bunker they have in, was it Norway?
What if they create an entire separate population with all of the genes and the traits that they want us to have, wipe us off, and then these guys emerge from the bunker after everything is said and done as the new humanity?
It's a breakaway civilization that they could create, 100%. And they probably have already been doing this. I mean, this is from 4 years ago. I guarantee they've been doing it since at least the 90s, when that whole thing, broke out with the cloning paranoia. But, like the debate of what is a woman, well, that's ancient history. It will be what is a human, and we're going to debate that. Just like how it's going to be debated about, I do believe this, I'm not kidding, about robot rights. Can a robot can you marry a robot? We've seen around the world people marry robots, and that's bizarre. I don't believe in it, but it's happening, and people are going to say, well, maybe they should pay taxes. If they're paying taxes, maybe they should vote. Do you think that's happening? Do you think it's going to happen? Am I crazy? Or do you see that conversation coming down the pike? And I do think so. And I do think we're going to have this debate now. What is a human? It's going to be like the abortion debate, but it's going to be applied to this stuff because they're creating people, if you want to say that, in a lab. It's going to get very interesting. Unless 3i Atlas comes and just obliterates Earth, I guess we don't have to worry about it. Unless the spores from the labs go to space.
That's what I mean. They're already grown in the bunker and waiting.
Yeah.
Atlas hits us, wipes out the planet.
Yep. That's
New
it.
population emerges.
Great. Was that the end of that one? Was there anything left with that?
But there, it's basically it. I can't see him having anything else
creepy guy.
groundbreaking to say.
Creepy guy. So let's just talk a little more. Let's dig into the dystopia that's in the here and now. And let's bring up that Robin Williams thing that's going on.
Oh, yeah, that.
Did you guys see this today? This is interesting. So, Robin Williams is one of like the few celebrity deaths that really I was like, man, that really bummed me out. Like, really bummed me out. I liked a lot of his movies as a kid, and it was just comedians. I love comedians, but this is the story. Horrible TikTok slop. Robin Williams' daughter Zelda slams AI. The daughter of the late actor and comedian Robin Williams took to Instagram Monday to implore people to stop sending her artificial intelligence videos of her late father. Zelda Williams, who is an actor, producer, and director herself, also took aim more broadly at AI content, slamming it as horrible TikTok slop. I like it. I like where she's coming from. Please just stop sending me AI videos of Dad Williams posted.
She actually snaps, and I'm like super proud of her for it.
Yeah, I'm into this.
It gets better. Her reply.
Yeah,
she absolutely kills it. Hey, wait for this because this is good.
This is scary stuff.
No, it is
that we're gonna have to deal with.
And as we're going along, I want you guys to imagine having your father or someone that is very close to you taken away from you, by something like this, like suicide, mental disease, whatever happened. I believe even terminal illness was part of why he was gone, because he just didn't want to live that way or end up that way. But imagine that happening, and people are recreating that person's likeness through AI and sending you videos
of like your fake
in whatever
relative.
Context. Imagine that happening, and probably hundreds and hundreds of people have done this to her now. Keep that in mind.
We already saw a lot of Charlie Kirk AI ones, and I thought those were bizarre.
Made me sick.
Definitely, I did not like that. She goes on to say, stop believing I want to see it or that I'll understand. I don't, and I won't. If you're just trying to troll me, I've seen way worse. I'll restrict and move on. But please, if you've got any decency, just stop doing this to him and to me, to everyone, even full stop. It's dumb. It's a waste of time and energy. And believe me, it's not what he'd want. Williams, 36, did not mince words when it came to her view of AI-generated content in general. She's preaching here. You're not making art. You're making disgusting, overprocessed hot dogs out of the lives of human beings. out of the history of art and music and then shoving them down someone else's throat, hoping they'll give you a little thumbs up and like it. Gross. Zelda Williams, you see her there at the left of Robin Williams. I don't have to read that part. And for the love of everything, stop calling it the future, she continued. AI is just badly recycling and regurgitating that past to be consumed. You are taking in the human centipede of content. And from the very end of the line, all while the folks at the front laugh and laugh, consume and consume. Williams' father, the late Robin Williams, was a beloved actor. You guys know this.
That takes a very irritated person to come up with an insult like that back.
Yeah.
Trust me.
It's like people sending her
She
a
was
ghost,
not happy.
you know,
Yeah.
like a AI generated ghost.
No,
of
and
her
what's
dad.
worse is it's physical in front of her. Like it's real. Like she's
Yeah.
looking at it. And who the hell knows what these things were saying to her?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know?
I mean,
they could
putting
have been
words-
saying anything.
Putting words in her dead father's
Yeah.
mouth is insane.
And taking his likeness on top of that.
Yep.
Like imagine that she's gonna have fake memories
Yeah.
of shit like this, whether she wants to or not. And
Oh, yeah.
she's already stated she doesn't.
Yeah,
You know? And
that's a terrible thing. And then on the opposite side of this, and why it's going to get so strange, is there are so many actors who are selling their likeness to AI companies in perpetuity. So when they're dead, they'll still be here through AI, and that's happening at a fast clip. I know a lady who's an actress, and a company came to her and asked if she wanted to be a part of this like dating thing, where a celebrity could sell their likeness to the company, and then the people could consume it and date her, and dress her and do all these things. And a lot of people had signed on. Thankfully, she was like, "Yeah, that's insane. I'm not doing it." And but they're paying lots of money to celebrities to get their likeness and then basically pimp them out digitally to lonely people around the world that can do all sorts of things to them. That's bizarre. And I think it's like James Earl Jones, you know, like they have his voice now in perpetuity. They can just keep recreating that, replicating it with AI forever. So we're going to have that happening now, as well as that people fighting that like dystopian world of people sending you your dead relative, like you were saying earlier, which is terrible. And I wonder how that people are going to fight that. It's going to get
welcome
interesting.
to digital immortality.
Yep, it's going to get interesting. And I don't know if that even falls under the stuff that Melania Trump was passing, which I don't fully agree with. Some of it, like I totally agree with, we got to take down anything that harms children, anything that's of children, that's lewd, got to go. You know, I forget the name of her act. Maybe it's called the Takedown Act, I guess. So I'm totally in favor of that. But there is some of it that does feel like it's encroaching on free speech in terms of taking something, an image of someone, and turning it into like a parody or satire. Then you can debate what is parody and satire. But I don't know how if that will even touch what Zelda's talking about with her dad and how people are going to deal with that. And I don't know if there's a law that should be passed, honestly, to do it. Because, I think as unfortunate as it is, people are making stuff. For me, it always comes down to, on an individual level, people need to have morals. But the problem is, most people don't have, not most, a lot of people don't have morals, and especially the people who do this. And I'm sure there's people who think it's nice to do it. Maybe they're sending her what they think is messages, but it sounds like she's getting a lot of trolls hitting her up. But it's scary stuff. But before we get to phone calls, let's talk about pumpkins. I just felt like talking about pumpkins. Just seemed like something I wanted to get into today. I didn't even read the whole article, guys. I just saw it and I was like, I want to talk about it. Look at that.
I went
It's
through it a
October.
little bit. It's pretty ridiculous.
Good.
This guy's growing giant pumpkins that look like Jabba the Hutt.
Yes, it does. Man shares how he competitively grows giant pumpkins the size of small cars. The pumpkin in Tony Scott's backyard weighs almost as much as a small car. He's been tending to it for months, feeding it fertilizer and covering it with a blanket at night to keep it at a stable temperature. I love that. I wish we got a little more in depth here with the details, like exactly.
Does he kiss it goodnight? Does it have a name?
Is he reading it stories?
You know,
telling it things.
I'd probably name it Earl.
That's a good name for a pumpkin. That's a great name for a
Big
pumpkin.
fat, country
Yeah,
pumpkin.
I
Name
love
it
that.
Earl. Put some
My name is
suspenders
Earl,
on it,
the
with
pumpkin.
the overalls. Get him some pumpkin overalls.
I like that. You should get that. That's what you need in your life. A roll of measuring tape wrapped around the pumpkin gives him a rough estimate of its size. I've never seen anything grow this fast, said Scott, a semiconductor engineer from upstate New York. You guys see this picture? If you're not watching, Brandon is completely correct. This is Jabba the Hutt. And what is it like? What is over? This is like pumpkin contraption. Like it's like a structure keeping it in place from rolling around.
It might be for the canvas.
He covers it
so
in.
he can keep it covered and keep temperature and moisture control probably within it. He probably just unsheathed the canvas for the photo.
Yeah. Look how proud he is. This guy's so proud of that
He's
pumpkin.
blushing for crying out loud.
He looks like me on this show. Every year, growers like Scott push their pumpkins to the limit. Push it to the limit. They compete in annual weigh-offs with colossal fruits that are well over 2,000 pounds. Scott's pumpkin took third place this year.
Third.
Why are we writing with the third place pumpkin?
Third place. Look at the
New York
size of
Post.
this thing. Third place.
Yeah. What's up with the other two New York Post? Pumpkins aren't the only crops that can get giant. Other members of the gourd family, like squashes, cucumbers, and watermelons, are capable of a similar feat. But the orange behemoths are especially massive and have earned a place of honor at fall festivals and Halloween fairs. Lovely, lovely paragraph. A giant pumpkin starts off as the perfect seed. Growers choose seeds that have yielded large pumpkins in the past or test new ones. Scott and many other growers rely on the tried and true Atlantic giant pumpkin seeds. Oh, that's cool. That's good to know. After that, it comes down to the right combination of water, nutrients, and care. Giant pumpkins can guzzle hundreds of gallons of water in a day. It's like a data center, and make their own food from sunlight just like regular-sized plants do.
Hundreds of gallons of water.
Feed me.
In a day.
Feed me. I love that movie.
What the hell?
That's a lot. Their internal plumbing system is more robust, allowing them to drink up sugary water and nutrients faster.
Oh, so now they want sugar water too. It's
Yeah, he's just got
the bug from Men
electrolytes.
in Black. Yeah.
As the leafy patch begins to expand, growers remove smaller pumpkins so all the water and nutrients funnel into a single fruit. That helps make it extra big in a way that you might not see in the wild, said Aleka Borsik, a plant scientist at the New York Botanical Garden. I do like the New York Botanical Garden.
I think anything about this pumpkin is anything you're going to see in the wild. Let's be honest
Imagine,
here.
imagine. Because of gravity, giant pumpkins grow wide but not tall. How can we not fix that? We're cloning people. Can we not make tall and fat pumpkins by now? They often resemble lopsided, lumpy pancakes. I can't believe I read that out loud. Scott's pumpkin is also lighter in color because he covers it with a tarp during the day.
Boom.
Protecting it, good call.
Called
Protecting it from sunlight, which can ripen and harden the skin. So it's a vampire. He waters it using an overhead sprinkler system. The answer is no, Borsik said.
It's Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson
where's
is
its
alive and
nose?
well, and he's a pumpkin now.
That'd be actually an awesome movie. No matter how big a pumpkin gets, it'll eventually mature, and its natural aging cycle will kick in. That's too bad. Scott has nurtured giant pumpkins for 8 years. It still blows his mind watching them inflate, putting on around 40 pounds to 50 pounds a day.
Netflix
Wow.
is reaching out to Rob Schneider to play the pumpkin in the upcoming movie.
That would be great.
I'm a pumpkin.
He's playing the pumpkin. That's
no.
so good. That's so good. He sets up reflective panels and even a fake wolf cutout to ward off hungry deer and other intruders looking for an orange-colored snack. So there you have it, guys. Giant pumpkin season is here. Pretty cool. I also like this article because this is in Wappingers Falls, and I spent many years working in this town. I love Wappingers Falls. Shout out to Wappingers Falls and to my friends at Graceland Tattoo, where I managed for a few years. That lovely tattoo shop. It's a great town. Everyone should visit it. But
Dude, this thing
never
is
saw
a good
this.
like
It's huge.
3-something feet tall. Actually, looking at this here,
What car though is it the size of?
it's the car that Mary drives.
I was just going to say.
It's about the
It's
size.
a shoe.
It's about the same
shoe.
size.
It's a shoe. Lovely. Yeah. Well, guys, I hope everyone out there has been inspired to grow giant pumpkins and not grow lab-grown embryos.
It's
in-
2,000 pounds. Why do you need that much pumpkin?
Dude, I love pumpkin pie. How many pies do you think you can get out of that thing?
A lot.
Yeah. I hope he does that.
I would hope a lot.
Yeah. Do you think he cries as it starts to rot? Or do you think he actually, like...
Dude, you have to
Butchers it
carve it
and
with a
starts-
chainsaw. Like,
That's amazing.
I don't know. I can't imagine going through all that work. It's just
Right. And not having shed a tear over
like
your,
you better be eating pumpkin for the
your older
next
pumpkin.
like year. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and pumpkin seeds are awesome too.
The amount of money that he's putting into this thing, just this one pumpkin.
All that water. What is his water bill? Like, that's what I'd like to see in an article like this. Like, what is your water bill?
Well, I mean, he's got a whole farm here. Obviously, he's got irrigation, but hundreds of gallons of water a day for a single pumpkin. That is intense, man.
That is crazy.
I don't know.
That guy's going to hit up the fake cloud guy
Buy
for
a
fake rain.
cactus or something. I don't know. It's just too much for me.
Well, guys, it's time for phone calls. It is that time of the night. Let's do it. Salvage says 1979 Smashing Pumpkins, one of the greatest songs ever written. Fiery Waco. Well, that's a heck of a name. If I grow a plant, I have a different one in mind. Those days are long behind me. Renee says grow pumpkins. Yes, grow pumpkins. Heretic Psychoanalyst says it would scream if he cut into it. I imagine that is the reality here. And Funnelus, is that how I say your name? Hundreds of gallons of sugar water, to be exact. So
Its name is Edgar.
Edgar.
That's his name is Edgar.
Edgar, that's good. Earl and Edgar, they'd be good friends. Well, who do we got lined up to call in for today?
Let's see.
And yes, I see Scum Katie out there. Mary has Ghost Coffee in the Cast Brew family. Yep. Cast Brew has now has, is it called Ghost Coffee for Ghost Girl? I saw a picture of it.
I think so.
See the name.
I can't remember what the hell they called it.
But
I was there
awesome.
when they were having the debate over what to call it, and I think she just wanted to call it something like
Mary
basic like that.
did sit in this show and tell everyone she's not into the dark stuff. And the cover of that coffee, she looks.
Yeah.
It's dark.
Yeah, she looks possessed.
I wasn't gonna say it.
They weren't going to not let Mary look possessed on the cover of some creepy
it's
coffee
Ghost
that they
Girl.
released for Halloween.
It's
Come
Ghost
on,
Girl.
it's obvious
Yeah.
they were going to do that.
Come on now.
Look at Ian on his,
It's amazing.
But I actually have had it, and it's actually really good.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I was like super shocked. I was like, dude, this is actually really good.
I had like the OG
Drink some of this.
Cast Brew a while back, and it was amazing. I actually have not. Oh no, I did try Ian's. Haven't tried Mary's. And I'm afraid to try Alex Stein's because I think his gave him a heart attack, like legit.
All right, so I'm gonna bring on Synchrotron while his internet is still working. I think. Let's see. Synchro's taking a second to pop in, so.
Seeing a shout out to Coast to Coast from Zen Wolf Bear. Yep, Coast to Coast is great. Art Bell's one of the best. Mark Johnson said Edgar Allan Pumpkin.
Yeah. We got to work on getting Shane a coffee or something.
Yeah.
I drink coffee all the time. I like the coffee.
I love coffee.
We'll see if we get there.
I love coffee. It is. I have a bit of a problem trying to dial it back, but I got 3 kids and they're young and they don't sleep.
I don't even have 3 kids and I still need coffee like every day. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm obsessed. Like I went in for my cleaning and I'm just like, yeah, sorry, I'm obsessed with coffee, so you're gonna have to take a couple layers of coffee.
Inject it into me. Carol said she saw the Smashing Pumpkins live back in high school. Sick. I have not seen the Smashing Pumpkins. I would love to.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
what's up, man?
All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the artificial embryos and stuff like that.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So they're not going to stop doing that. The testosterone rates and the sperm rates since the 70s have just been plummeting.
Good point.
And there's no end in sight. It's gone. The sperm rates in particular have gone down by like 1.6% every year since 1973, I think.
Good point.
It's on track to hit 0 by 2045. There's an epidemiologist. Her name is, hold on, I've got some notes here. Her name is Shauna Swan. She's one of the many scientists who are saying that it's actually going to hit 0 in most of the Northern Hemisphere by 2045. That's the reason why they're so gung-ho on bringing all the immigrants in, because immigrants from the Southern Hemisphere, their testosterone rates and sperm rates haven't dropped by as much.
Yep. Yeah, it's really scary what's happening. And it's like, so it's that is happening. And also just families are just not happening outside of that reason, right? Like people just aren't going out and meeting. People are isolated, drugged up. So it's like an attack on the family at every possible front. So yeah, that is a good point. And that is why these companies are ramping up to replace that with their version of a life.
I think a big reason why people aren't coupling like that anymore, it's not just the testosterone rates, because women's endocrine system is all haywire too. But like with men having a 50% less testosterone rate, they're just not as interested in women as they used to be. It's just not as big of a thing for most men.
Yeah, that's scary. What do you think it is causing this? I think it's diet, stuff they're putting in the water, stuff they're maybe pumping out of the sky. It's birth control for women as well. Are you looking at anything else?
Yes, I'm looking at something else. I'm glad that you guys asked. I've actually been knowledgeable about this since like 2018. I was way ahead of everybody else on YouTube and Tim and everybody about the population collapse. So I believe that there's two factors that have mostly contributed to this. The first and the largest being, they set off over 2,000 nuclear weapons during the nuclear testing era.
Mm-hmm.
And they put lead into gasoline for like 50 years. And heavy metals and radiation both have a very negative impact on general health, on mental health, on fertility. I see people talking about microplastics in the chat. So if you go back and you look at when they started taking these readings in the early 70s, the amount of microplastics in the environment were very low compared to what they are today. And the rate at which testosterone and sperm have dropped has been almost exact same since the 70s. It's almost not changed at all. So I'm not saying that microplastics aren't bad. They're definitely bad. But if it was the microplastics doing it, the microplastics just spiked in the 90s. You would see that rate drop by a faster rate. It would have gone down even more. And we're not seeing that. And
we certainly set off a lot of nuclear bombs. And it didn't just stay contained over there in the Southwest. That is a huge issue. We were watching videos a few months ago on the show when they would line up soldiers to watch them go off. And it's a little dicey to know exactly what happened to those guys. Because a lot of them, I don't think the VAs really knew what they were getting into. Just like last night we were talking about the people at Area 51 who say they're dealing with this, what they call the invisible enemy, due to some secret operation they were working on that made them extremely sick with huge tumors. And one person says it even changed his DNA. And I imagine it's not just unique to those people because these things spread. You look at Fukushima, you look at East Palestine, this just gets into the weather pattern and goes everywhere.
Yeah, most of the tests, especially the ones that were anywhere close to a megaton, they actually ejected fallout into the stratosphere, which got picked up by the jet stream, and it evenly distributed it. So it doesn't matter if you're a downwinder or not.
Right. Wasn't that, was it Operation Fishbowl?
Yeah, part of it was Operation Fishbowl. But like I said, most of I don't know exactly what the cutoff is, but somewhere around like 200 to 300 kilotons, that's big enough to eject fallout into the stratosphere.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have done that, huh?
Yeah, probably. It was a bad idea. I've seen people in the chat talking about how the lead toxicity is mostly gone. So the lead and the heavy metals from the nuclear test, which the heavy metals from the nuclear test were actually just as bad, if not worse, than the radiation. It doesn't matter that the radiation levels have gone down. That's caused long-term DNA damage and epigenetic damage. I'm actually working on a amateur research paper, and this is all in there. It's almost up to 40,000 words now. There's a lot of evidence that says that both the heavy metals and the radiation causes severe long-term epigenetic damage that's cumulative, so it gets worse every generation, but you pass it down too.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you have never been exposed to heavy metals or radiation. Your parents were dosed with it so much that now your genome is basically irrevocably damaged at this point.
So it's inescapable.
It is inescapable, and it took longer for the fallout to kind of leach into the southern hemisphere, but it has leached into the southern hemisphere. Even places like Africa that have just crazy high birth rates forever, they're at less than half of what they used to be.
Yeah, and then to add to all that, the stuff that they're genetically modifying and kind of not telling you, that's in the supermarket, like salmon is a good example. They had these salmon farms, and a lot of them are modified. I call it a bug that they've been modified with, but it's actually like a slug from the bottom of the ocean that they make these like hybrid salmon with to make them bigger. And a lot of them are from the salmon farms, but there have been many, many breakouts. So you can't even quantify how many hybrid salmon have gotten into the wild salmon population now. And I don't know if anyone out there has noticed just the changing color of salmon in supermarkets, but it's been noticeable in the last like 5 years. And they
pump
dye
it all full of dyes too.
Yeah, and they dye it. It's disgusting. And that's just salmon. It's a lot
it
of
all
things.
goes away when you cook it, so who the hell is the wiser?
No, it gets even worse when you cook it. It's so toxic.
Oh, the same thing, you get these chicken breasts too that are just like, oh, these are some big chicken breasts. They're just literally, they take a syringe and they pump them full of shit.
Yep. I mean, look at the difference of the eggs we get from Chicken City and the eggs you get from a supermarket. Like any eggs you get directly from a farm are completely different. They have a different color, taste, they cook differently than what you're getting in a supermarket.
Yep.
And then we're dealing with Bill Gates and what he's doing with the appeal thing where they're wrapping a lot of fruit with his appeal, which is like, I don't know what you call it, like a wax or something. And that can't be good for you. And he's also making his fake lab-grown butter. But it's everything. And like I was saying, it's a war on every possible front of the individual and then the family. And that's why we're where we are at right now. And you make a really good point about tying this to what we were talking about with these companies. And man, I wonder if it's stoppable. I'd like to stop it. I don't know if other people agree.
I personally, I kind of don't think it's stoppable, but I'm kind of black-pilled on this issue. Maybe I'm wrong, but I want everybody in chat to check out two things. So there's this thing called Project Sunshine that they ran in the 1950s. There's also another kind of research thing they did called the St. Louis Baby Teeth Survey. They've known about all of this, in my opinion. They've known all of this since the 50s.
Can you give us a brief rundown of each of those?
So Project Sunshine was they stole corpses from hospitals to test them for fallout levels, and like they body snatched dead babies from hospitals. It's really dark.
When was this? Did you say? Sorry.
This was in the 1950s. It's called Project Sunshine. So they did a bunch of crazy stuff trying to map where the fallout was landing and what was happening. But in the St. Louis Baby Teeth Survey, they found that the rates of I think it's strontium-90. I don't remember the name of the particle. Was like 1,000 times higher in the baby teeth than it was supposed to be.
Wow. I'm looking it up right now. I have not heard of this. Holy crap.
Yeah. So they've known about this since before the sexual revolution.
Right.
I think that the sexual revolution was actually a strategy that they implemented to try to head this off. I also have another theory that's pretty dark. Wow. I think that they named us Gen X, Y, and Z, which is the end of the alphabet, because they knew that we were going to go below replacement rates during Gen Z.
Dang. Yeah, it's dark. That's dark, but you might be onto something because a lot of this stuff is planned out. Last night we had Catherine from Scotland on talking about the Fabian Society. We were talking about Yuri Bezmenov. They plan these things out. They plan on destroying the individual and society. That's what they do. That's what evil does. So, you might be onto something with that. I am blown away by Project Sunshine. That is insane. Insane. I will be going down that rabbit hole later. And the other one. Well, thank you for that. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I have another theory. In the 1970s, all those cattle events. So those were helicopters with low noise stealth helicopter blades with lights embedded in the blade. And if you spin a light like that really fast and you pulse it, it makes it look like there's a static structure. There's a toy. It's called, I don't remember the name of it. I think it's the Galaxy LED spinner. You can look that up. It's just a little kid's toy. It's like $20 that looks just like a UFO. And if you put those lights in a helicopter blade just like that and run it at night, it looks indistinguishable from a flying saucer.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Very interesting. Hey, man, appreciate the phone call, despite how dark that is. But I think you are onto something. And thank you for that information. I'll be looking into it.
Thanks. Like I said, I'm working on a research document right now. When I get done with it, I'll send it to you guys. It's like 40,000 words.
Yeah, well, I think we should like to continue this conversation for sure.
Yeah,
You
we're
know
going
where
to
to
deep
find
dive
us.
into this, and maybe we'll pick this up on another episode or something if we could pull some information in on it. Huh?
Yep. Thanks, man. Have a good night.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Hank.
Ian Crossland.
Yeah, I seen him in there
See you in the
trolling
chat.
about.
See you in the chat, sir.
Creeping about.
Ian, thank you for the chat. And he says, today is the best Smashing Pumpkin song. And it's up there. I have so many tied for number one with the Pumpkins, depending on the day, depending on the weather. I love Bodies from the second side of Melancholy. That song is incredible. There's so many good ones. I think Zeitgeist is an underrated Pumpkins album that should be on streaming services, and it's not. It's such a good album. Yeah, I'm a huge Pumpkins nerd, but thanks, Ian. Appreciate that. It's good seeing you in the chat. And what I see here, Nova Mike 56 said Agent Orange is way worse, and yeah, dude, they did some real damage to people with Agent Orange. Real damage. They did not. Well, maybe I was going to say they did not think that through. Maybe they did, considering the last caller. What they did to our people and what that did to their children is horrible. I mean, think of the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. Think of thalidomide. They don't care about you. Think of Operation Sea Spray. We had a lady call in whose mother was a victim of Operation Sea Spray when off the coast of, I think it was San Francisco, they put the bio warfare chemicals into the atmosphere just to see how it would go down. You know, how in case we were ever attacked, we just want to know how to defend ourselves.
You know what they failed to do? Let everybody know that they were doing it.
Yes, they did
Get
not
consent
do that.
from the population of San Francisco before they created a biological attack on them.
It's unbelievable. There's also, we covered it briefly months ago. There was a project where our government, parts of our government, were giving, I think it was orphans, like nuclear waste-filled oatmeal to see what would happen to them. And these people are sick. We're dealing with like satanic people. The Redneck Hipster, thank you for the chat. Siva is Smashing Pumpkins' best song. Siva, you know I can't read. Why do I not know that one?
Yeah, throw Cherub Rock in there too, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean that album is incredible. That album is incredible. I was about to play it, but then I realized we'd lose it. That whole album is incredible. Gish is incredible. It depends on the day, guys. I'm a big Melancholy fan. I'm a big Siamese Dream fan. Monuments to an Elegy is a great album. Machina is a great album. Adore is great. All right, I'm going to stop because now I'm just going to talk about Pumpkins.
It's too early to go down this rabbit hole, Shane.
We did this last night with Pumpkins, but it is October.
We did it towards the end of the show, though. It's acceptable.
Yeah,
We carved out 10 minutes to deal with our musical angst.
I could do an hour. All right, let's. Who do we have on next?
We are going to go to Stephen Wolf.
All right, come on down. And we can't forget about Henrietta Lacks, too.
What's up, Steven?
What's going on, Stephen? How are you?
How you guys doing?
Hanging out,
I'm
man.
back.
We're doing good. What is new in your neck of the woods?
Not too much. You guys were talking about the cloning thing earlier, and you know, we got all this AI tech that's going on, and you got this cloning crap going on, and you got this fake Rain Man. You know, he's fake. It's fake Rain. And it's like, what kind of hellacious dystopia are we all living in?
It's a bad one. I mean,
It's a pretty bad one. It always seems like it's getting worse.
because it's progress and innovation, which I agree with progress and innovation, but the kind that actually helps human beings, not the kind that replaces
Right. I don't
us.
want this is more like regressivism than anything else.
It is regressive, but it's like it's in a costume of progress. You know, it's going to be good for you. It's going to be better for everybody.
Oh, it's going to be so great for you. We're gonna have clones that are heartless, soulless, and brainless.
Yep, wonderful.
I mean,
you can have one at the shooting range. $30.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it's really not
this is
good.
going to be so great for humanity. No, this is a dystopian hell.
I mean,
that
I say it all.
lives in your nightmares.
I say this quite often, but I'm not being hyperbolic because of all the things we've covered. The future is moving towards a place where you're in a small city, these 15-minute cities. You're not leaving your house. I mean, I'm not going to be a part of this. I will be.
No, I will not.
Luddite.
I refuse. I will absolutely refuse at all costs to be part of that bullshit.
We have to. We have to reject this. But that is where they're moving towards. All these technocrats, these techno-optimists like Elon, Andreessen, Thiel, Altman, Ellison, Hoffman, you name all those guys.
Yeah, all those crazy assholes.
They all have their own little private cities they're building, these network states, which would be like a 15-minute city. You will be able to biohack there. You'll be able to be a transhumanist there. You can marry your robot. You can marry your AI. You might not ever unplug from the metaverse. We will also have the de-extinction companies creating pterodactyls, woolly mammoths, dire wolves, which are already here.
Yeah, they're gonna play Jurassic Park.
Yep, and then the farmlands will all be replaced by data farms, data centers, and that's where the fake clouds come in, because that is the ultimate goal of the fake clouds, is to create more rain and water for the data centers that soak up millions and millions of gallons of water for Elon to create his AI porn that he forces into everyone's eyeballs.
Or for one guy to feed his pumpkin with.
Or that, or for someone to create a Robin Williams.
I'm so sick of this AI shit. I was telling you the other week, like, I'm seeing all these fake stories and these fake AI videos all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. It's like, and what Robin Williams' daughter's saying.
Right.
Like, I agree with her 100%.
Yeah,
like,
it's brutal.
This shit needs to stop.
It's going to be tough.
We need to push the brakes on this shit hard. Like, we need to slam these brakes down to the floor.
Well, how do you recommend that we do something like that? Because I feel like a lot of people feel the same way, but none of us have even the first idea as to what we can do as a whole to stop things like this from coming to fruition.
I will say there is a manifesto out there.
Well, the first thing I'll say is
the violence part.
The first thing I'll say is this: we need to make sure that we tell everybody, and I mean everybody, when you go online and you go to read a story, whether it's on social media or whatever, use that brain that God gave you, and decipher the crap you're looking at and the stuff you're reading and the videos you're watching. And here's a few points to look for to determine if it's actually real or if it's AI.
People are having a hard time making that distinction these days.
Some of this stuff is forced to be watermarked.
Harder to do, but it's got to be, something's got to be said to the fact that these these stories and these videos and stuff that are written, I see it all over Facebook all the time. Like, I'll go down my news feed and all of a sudden this story pops up and it's like a Charlie Kirk story, right? It's like, oh, these celebrities are all getting together to do this thing for Charlie Kirk, and these celebrities never did anything for anybody in the conservative movement ever. It's like, just use common sense. Like, and you'll see that these stories are formatted a certain way, and they have like a weird name on them or something, and you click on the comment sections and everybody's like praising, like, oh, thank God these people are doing this in memory of Charlie Kirk. And it's like, you go to look it up online, and these people are not doing any of that shit.
No.
Like, you got to verify.
People are
I've had people call me the last several nights. Like, they'll send me stuff about different things they've read and stuff. And they'll call me. They're like, hey, man, Israel's got these laser beams or whatever. And I'm like, okay, we've been developing that shit since the 70s.
China's open about it. They have it.
Yeah. Like,
but who knows if they're telling the truth?
You got all these militaries, Russia, China, Israel, Germany, everybody's developing that stuff.
So
but it's like they're trying to say, and then you have people saying about the Charlie Kirk murder. Oh, Israel's behind it. I'm like, I'm just getting so damn tired of fucking hearing that. It's like, Show me proof. Show me actual proof. You want to have a conversation? Show me proof. If you can't show me the proof, then don't have the conversation.
I'm totally in favor of everyone asking all the questions they want, but everyone also needs to understand that you need to be very wary of your biases being confirmed. So if you automatically think it's going to be Israel or China, or I mean, no one's saying France. I mean, Candace is being sued by France right now. But like, whatever your bias is, you know, just make sure you check it.
That French president's wife having a penis.
Wife. I'm putting that in quotes for people listening. Wife.
Quotes.
Wife.
Air quotes.
That's not a lady, dude. That ain't a lady.
It's not a lady. That's a man. Like just like Barack's husband.
Exactly. Big Mike.
Big Mike Obama.
Yeah, that's right. You know, President.
You seen the videos on Ellen where she's dancing and there's a big slug popping around.
I wish I hadn't seen it. Thanks for reminding me. Sheesh.
And then you got who's the lady that was on Trump's show that said that, you know, she was interviewed by TMZ, and they're like, "When are we going to have a gay president?" And she goes, "Oh, don't get hyped up about that. We already have one."
I don't know who that
Everybody
was.
knows that Michelle Obama's a man, and then later on,
Joan Rivers.
Yeah,
one of the best.
Later on, she dies from like a normal medical procedure.
Yeah, it was weird. People draw that connection.
I still question that whole thing too.
But so when it comes to this whole conversation though about online and people believing AI and not having the ability to make the distinction, the problem is like I don't think we can regulate that, and I don't think I want to, because people have the ability to make it, and there's no way of stopping it. It's like what you were saying is part of the answer is you got to make sure that somehow the population is educated enough to make that distinction. It's gonna be really hard considering that a lot of kids can't even read these days. But
yeah, I know.
You have to understand that everyone on the internet and TV and whatever platform you use is trying, CB radio maybe, is trying to like brainwash you. They're trying to get
Pretty
you
much.
to believe into their theory.
It don't matter who it is. It's coming from every direction.
Everyone wants to win your perception over to make it fit into the way they're seeing the world, and it happens with everything. And especially after these times of tragedies, like with Charlie, you know, so much information's coming out. You're being
imagine what they're going to do when they try to do a false flag.
Exactly.
And they posted AI video. They post AI videos out. I mean, it's bad enough that they do these false flags to begin with, and they put fake actors out there, like in Syria when they said the Syrian people were gas bombed, and they have a bunch of actors in a cave or something. Mm-hmm. You know, and then these bodies are laying there and they're all moving around.
Mm-hmm. We do
and
it.
It's like,
we do
sorry,
it.
If you're dead, you don't move around. When you're dead, you're dead.
Yep. You remember? I forget what country it was. Was it Syria maybe, where the CNN went and released a prisoner, and that was a totally fake stage video.
I think that was Syria.
It was Syria. Yeah.
It was all fake. Staged.
Everything's fake, dude. Everything. I just go with everything's fake until proven otherwise.
Proven otherwise, yeah.
That's.
I mean, it's
honestly
bad enough. It's bad enough they did 9/11 on us, and we still haven't had the real answers from that.
Yep. Yeah. No one wants to talk about Building 7. That's a whole. And I was only an hour. I was an hour north. I was an hour north, man, and I know people who died on 9/11, and you know we were a community of people who commuted to the city, so it like deeply impacted our neighborhood.
Well, I think we're probably about the same age. I was in like the 7th grade.
I'm 80 years old.
Yeah, I don't think you are.
No, I'm 40.
You are one of the last of the Dunedain.
I feel 80. No, I was in I think 10th grade when it happened. So we're about the same age.
All right, yeah, you're about the same age as my older brother then, because he was literally just turned 16 like a few days before, and he went to go take his driver's test, and you know they closed the DMVs down. He had to wait like 2 weeks to go take his driver's test.
Were you in New York?
No, in Pennsylvania, the great, beautiful Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, beautiful Pennsylvania.
Hey, I want to tell you another thing too. So one thing that is new in our area. So I happen to be the vice chair of a Young Republicans chapter here in PA. And we were going to host a Charlie Kirk vigil
Right. I
at a
remember.
local college.
Yep.
Right.
And that, I'll send you the article. I'll try to send it to you on X or something, or I'll tag you in it or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's in Labtown. Basically, Lebanon Valley College, which is like, you know, a liberal arts college. They have a conservative club there, and we're working with their conservative club to have a vigil on the 13th of October, which would have been next Monday, the day before Charlie's birthday, to commemorate his, his life and what his mission was.
Right.
And that college decides that it's going to push a $10,000 security fee on our group.
What?
Because
the amount of people.
Oh, there might be counter protests and blah 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 blah, and it's like around here, yeah, there's some crazy leftists, but it's like
so they're
few and far between, and they're not as, some of them aren't as radicalized as like the mainstream.
This is a tactic that has been deployed quite a bit with trying to curb these sort of situations, especially when it comes to conservatives, where it's like, it's not lawfare and it's not violence, but it's this way of like pricing you out of even doing it. And
yeah,
we had Ezra Levant from Rebel News on IRL a few months ago, and Canada, wherever he's at in Canada, they did almost the same thing. That's the most recent one I can think of. And I think he's in a lawsuit with them. He did all these FOIA requests and saw the communications in the background where they were literally saying like, we'll just make them pay like this exorbitant amount for security. And it made it like nearly impossible. Although I think they were able to pull it off still, but somehow they found out that that this had been done to them. So
yeah,
that's insane, dude.
So what we're doing now is we're looking at other venues and stuff.
Okay.
And maybe the dates might change on it. We're not sure yet, but
that's a bummer.
We were also over the weekend. Our state Young Republicans presented our chapter with the 2025 PAYR Chapter of the Year award, and then Pennsylvania had picked up the award this past summer down in Nashville at the Young Republicans National Convention for the National Award for Chapter of the Year for state chapters.
Cool. So you have some help.
We're like
hopefully.
the best. We're like the best in the country, I guess. We're the best of the best.
So can you hopefully you can use that to help you when you're fighting back against this kind of stuff that are making you stop, or making it harder, putting all these obstacles in your place to try to stop.
Well, we're gonna push on, and we're not gonna let these people deter us from being able to honor, Charlie's life, because Charlie's life is worth honoring and having,
absolutely,
having a vigil for. And it's like the one thing I see in all these comment sections on these articles and stuff, all these people are saying about the reps that were out in Minnesota that got killed. Well, why is it nobody having one of those, a vigil for them? Well, why don't you step up and have one? Is anybody stopping you from doing that? No. Go do it.
Right.
If you want to have a vigil for those people, go do it. Don't bitch at us because we want to have a vigil for somebody from our side that was killed in cold blood in front of thousands of people. And then everybody saw the videos worldwide of Charlie being shot in the neck, and
horrible.
I seen the videos and I seen 3 different videos from 3 different angles, and like I can't get that out of my head.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think it's almost necessary for us to have that in our head. The image shouldn't exist, but now that it does, we should have it in our head.
That shit should have never happened. And I wish it would. I wish the FBI would, get a fire under their ass to stop lying to us about what's going on, what the timeline and stuff is, and what did this kid really pull it off, or is there somebody else involved? Like, I want to know. I want to see actual evidence
Yeah, me too.
that this kid actually did it.
Me too. I'm not holding my breath. I don't trust the FBI.
And I want to, and I don't want him to be suicided either.
Exactly.
Or I want to have a lot more questions.
Yep. 100%.
It's like it'd be just like the Epstein thing all over again.
Yep. Yeah, dude, it's terrible. But I'm praying that we get some answers with this. I think it would be good for the country to at least have answers, but then we're going to debate those answers. But before we move on, brother, do you have anything you want to add?
Sigro did a great job with his call earlier, and I liked that call yesterday with Joe Exotic. I think Joe Exotic was very much wronged by our government and by the lawfare system, and I think he should get clemency, at least clemency.
Yeah.
Maybe a pardon for, all the bullshit he's been putting up with, and I don't wish any ill on the guy. Because he's right. There's a lot of innocent people that are in prisons right now.
Yeah.
Our prison system and our justice system is very fucking corrupt. And that needs to be looked at too with all the shit that's been going on.
Totally agree, man. Totally agree. Well, thank you for that, brother. Good to hear from you. And keep us
Good to hear
posted.
from you guys. Don't forget, Shane. It's the great giant Jabba pumpkin, Shane Cashman.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Take it easy, man.
You as well. Take care.
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna get answers these days. It's just insane. Everything's insane. Matt G says the Canada I'm from is gone. That's how I feel about the New York that I'm from. It is also gone. It's so beautiful. I love that state, but it's been captured. It's unfortunate because a lot of New York it votes Republican. There's pockets of blue around the upstate area, north of the city. Well, everything's north of the city, but the city just ruins it for everybody. It's like how it is in California. It's why I like West Virginia. Those cities. We have Charleston, but the voting, the population isn't big enough to change how deeply red the state is, which wasn't always the case. It used to be a deep blue state up until, I believe, Gore, when the Democrats turned on the unions and the coal workers were like, nah, we're done. And then it's heavy red. But who do we got? And for those who are here today, who weren't here yesterday, our previous caller was referencing our phone call from Tiger King himself, Joe Exotic, who called from prison. That was wild. There were moments when he's talking and the phone call to interrupt to remind us all that we were on the phone with someone in federal prison.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was easily one of my favorite parts of the entire thing.
Yeah.
Just not the fact that Joe Exotic was on the phone,
Yeah.
but that the prison line felt the need to remind us every 5 to 6 minutes that we were actually on the phone with the prison.
Just like, you're interrupting our podcast, prison. Come on now. And but there is a lot of stuff pointing to the fact that witnesses lied under oath and might have been coached to do that, and that he was framed. You can go on his website and find that all out. You can look at what they've been saying. It's compelling. It's crazy. And I feel bad for him because he's sick. And the whole thing was, if you didn't hear, like, he's drawing this comparison between the guy who went to assassinate Kavanaugh and got 8 years in jail, and he's in jail for, I guess, this they're saying he's there for he hired a hitman. He's saying it wasn't the case, and then he's saying these witnesses are lying, but he's got 20-something years and he's already served 7. And he's got cancer. He's got all these issues, health stuff.
2 forms of cancer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal.
So, that's guy's walking a rough beat right now.
Yeah.
Well,
who do we got?
I'm gonna bring on Steph next.
I also think somehow Joe has footage of him on the phone with us. I don't know how that happened. I saw a clip of it. I'm like, wait, that's Joe talking to us. Somewhere on my Twitter. To find it.
What are you talking about? Like, he's like...
There's footage. Somehow there's a camera in front of him talking to us.
Really?
Yeah,
like
he
recorded?
sent it to me.
No way.
I didn't have time to look at it. And I'm like, wait, that's him. It was the end clip of him with the website and stuff. I got to find it.
Yeah, I need to see that. Steph, you got no mic. There it is.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, hello.
That last call is going to be a tough act to follow.
He's a great caller.
I don't know if I can be that eloquent.
Can you do any impressions? Do any circus tricks? Do you know
Yeah,
magic?
yeah. I can do the German impressions. Very good,
perfect.
You know,
Perfect.
I spent some time in Germany.
Awesome.
Do that.
Well, that works. Well, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
I'm great, and I love being on the show and watching your show. And but I have to say that last night and this night's Timcast were amazing.
Oh,
I
cool.
was really blown away. I watch it all the time. I mean, I tune in all the time, but this tonight's show was incredible, and last night's was also incredible. Very intelligent, very informative, amazing, really good.
Yeah,
I really like this Kurt Mills guy. He's a very cool dude.
Yeah, I did it IRL with him a few years ago. And I saw he was on tonight. Tonight had a pretty good lineup. I saw Matt Gates
Very
was
good,
hosting.
amazing.
Yeah,
there's a lot of and people I never saw before. I never heard of this Kurt Mills before.
And DeCamp was on, who's a phenomenal writer.
DeCamp.
Yeah,
he's good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
really
really
good.
amazing. I was just blown away. Because sometimes it kind of degenerates a little bit into chit chat.
Yeah.
But this was
When I'm on,
solid
typically,
all the way
I have
through.
a way of
all the way
derailing.
through. Amazing, really good stuff.
Awesome. Appreciate that.
Anyway, I was compelled to tune in. I don't tune in every day because I don't want to waste your time.
Oh, it's okay.
But I was compelled to because of this lab-grown human eggs thing that you showed earlier.
Yes. What do you think?
And the previous caller before the last caller, he had some interesting things to say, and it sounds good. But I have a totally different take, and I
Great.
don't know what you guys think of this.
Let's hear it.
I think the reason for the low sperm count is, and the reason for the lack of families, because the rate of families being created has also shrunk a lot.
Yeah.
All over the Western world. I think it goes back to the sexual revolution in the 60s, and I think it's Hollywood to a large extent. I don't think it's chemicals. I don't think it's atom bombs. I think it's emotional, and because the emotions is the most important part of a human being. It's the most energetic part, and the emotions is like there was an interesting metaphor from the East. I don't know where it comes from exactly. It could be China, it could be India. That a human being is represented by a cart, a horse, and a driver, and the harness that connects the cart to the horse. The horse represents the heart. The harness that connects the wagon to the horse represents the intellect. The cart represents the body of the human being, and the driver represents the consciousness of the human being. And the horse has the most power of all. I mean, if without the horse, the cart ain't going anywhere. So that's our. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
So I think what we've experienced is an attack against our whole emotional well-being. It comes out of this Marxist thing. It took over Hollywood, and the whole hippie movement in the 60s, which I lived through. I was 10 years old, and it was the generation ahead of me that were the hippies. And I think that's the reason why we don't have any families, because they created two proclivities. One thing is Hollywood has, with all its movies and sitcoms and all this stuff, they've created this zeitgeist that says anything goes. And we've basically destroyed our ethical values. We've destroyed our morals. People don't go to church anymore. And you can see this across the board. Jews don't go to church anymore, don't go to the synagogue anymore. Christians, a lot of Christians don't go to church anymore. And because anything goes, rich men can dump their wives that are in their age cohort and pick up a beautiful, slender, young trophy wife from their office or from their place of work or whatever, and young men can't find a wife. I think that's what it is. I think what we're seeing is we're seeing a bunch of adulterers older, wealthier adulterers raiding the supply of young women in the love market.
Well, I totally agree with you on the fact that the emotional side is has a heavy impact on this death of the family. You know, like what you're saying with adulterers destroying families, it's fatherlessness, it's widespread nihilism. People have like no meaning anymore, and the routine of the modern world has just sucked the joy out of everything.
Guys, it's difficult for a guy to get a girlfriend. I had to wait until I was 27 years old to get a girlfriend. She was 20 years old, 7 years younger, and she already had 12 boyfriends under her belt.
Yeah,
and I've talked to a lot of guys, and I just know from experience. You know, I've heard a lot of stories where guys are just saying, you know, you go into a bar looking for a girl, and there's like 15 guys to each woman. And this is everywhere. This is in Vienna. It's in Berlin. It's in Toronto. I don't know about New York.
We call it the ratio here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, so anyway, but then the other problem is we got feminists. And the feminists are taking the balance of attractive and interesting women that are still left in the love market, and they're brainwashing them. You don't need a man. You don't need a family. You don't need children. Just get a job. Just go for the money. Just get a career and take a job away from a man. So there's this double whammy against men, basically.
But would you also, like, I know you said you didn't think the chemicals had a big deal with it, but I really do think that is another part of this attack on the family when it comes to vaccinations, diet, what we've done to the atmosphere, the water supply, the microplastics. You know, I do think that does have a profound effect on the human body in horrible ways. And what that's done, I mean, there's been recent studies on what's in placentas, you know, something that's so important. And it's like just a miracle thing that is created to keep the baby fed and safe in the womb. And then those are being found to have all these insane microplastics in there. So you're kind of like, you can't even escape it when you're in the womb. And I think that's having an effect on DNA.
I'm not in a position to argue about that because I'm not a scientist.
I'm not. I pretend to be one on podcasts Monday through Thursday, but no. But I do.
Anyway,
I mean,
my major thesis is just, I think the real problem is our ethics and morals have been systematically destroyed on purpose by the Marxists.
Yep.
And feminism is Marxism for women. And they've taken beautiful, intelligent women and brainwashed them and saying, be a career woman. You don't need to start a family. Go for the money. You go, girl. That's the one thing. And then the other terrible proclivity are these guys who they look at their wife and they go, it's time for a new model. And there's no moral component. They have no problem. They just go in, you know, they pick up some young chick in their office, or if it's a professor in the classroom, and they start an affair with her. And, you know, that's it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it also kind of explains all these school, in brackets, girl shootings. I think that if you look at Columbine, those two guys were targeting the girl. Because they're like 13 and 14 years old. They didn't have the intellectual caliber to understand the mechanics of what's going on, and they simply blame the girls for girl power, and because it hurts them, and so the girls are the ones to blame. We're gonna punish the girls because they just don't understand that this is a much bigger. You know, the mechanics of it is a little bit tricky to sort of nail down.
No, yeah.
Anyway,
I think you're totally right about that. You know, I do think the chemicals have an issue as well, but we've eroded all this stuff, the emotions, the morals, the idea of a family. Yeah. It's also, like you were saying, hard to even connect with people in the real world. And we're also, you know, the way I was talking about designer babies earlier in the show, people are kind of also doing that on dating apps. You know, I've known my wife since high school, but we didn't start dating till later. But we started dating before, like, I never did dating apps or any of that stuff. But I know people who do dating apps, and they're like doing designer things. It's almost like dating eugenics, where they're like saying, I need this person to have this, and that. And I think that is not natural as well. You know, I think it's impossible to find that perfect match. I think it's good to have some differences and learn to, you know, become one together. And you learn a lot that way. Whereas a lot of people I see dating on apps, They're like, I need this, and that, or it's just for hooking up, you know, and you're never going to go anywhere, and that's just a downward spiral. It's not healthy.
Yeah, and somebody said that the reason why these scientists are pursuing this is because they need to make up for the fact that we have a low birth rate. But I think, you know, that may be true. That may be the reason. That may be their motivation. But what I'm saying is that we can also solve it by trying to bring back ethics, morality, and you have to sort of bring back the sense of ethics. We have to have ethics in a society. America has become, and not just America, every Western country has become a sort of amoral collection of people who are just pursuing material goals. And materialism is Marxism pure. Marx didn't believe in anything he couldn't touch or see or smell. He said famously, if I can't touch it, if I can't see it and I can't smell it, it doesn't exist.
Right.
That's
they're all
Karl
about,
Marx.
it's the antithesis to religion, and especially the antithesis to Christianity. And if I may try to say something positive, I'm noticing I do think there's a revival happening with religion amongst a lot of younger people in this country. We've seen it post Charlie's assassination, but it's been happening before that as well.
Yeah,
so maybe through
good.
that,
That's
there
good.
will be this idea of like, we need a family, we need morals, ethics, and hopefully.
If we all of a sudden can have families again, there won't be any need for these weird biological human egg crap.
I hope
all
so.
This stuff
They'll find another way to ruin humanity.
So that's all I wanted to say.
Awesome.
I don't want to take up too much of your time.
No.
Anyway, you guys are doing a great job.
Thanks, man.
Brandon,
Appreciate
excellent. Good
Thanks,
man.
man.
Have a good night, man.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, take care. Bye.
All righty. Great. I love these conversations. Let's bring in someone else. Somehow it's 11:32 already. What do we got here? MF Damien. Well, I'm getting really blind. You see, I'm like an old man now. I have to hold it right here. Candlelight has Shane looking like the Call It Friendo dude from No Country from Home. With way better hair. I don't know. My hair is, as it's thinning and falling out, I do see myself looking like that guy. I dig it. No Diddy. We could pull up a picture of that guy from No Country for Old Men to show the people maybe a side by side of me and. I love that movie.
Hang on a second.
I also have like bad back pain, but I've been working on it. It's getting better. And I think of this movie all the time when I'm limping from back pain. And I think of this scene where he's walking into the pharmacy as the car is about to explode behind him. I'm like, I look like that guy right now. I'm imagining that's what everyone else sees when I'm walking into the supermarket. But yeah, I love it. Great movie. You know, you finding it? He's got a sick weapon in that movie too. The thing they do with to kill the cattle.
Cattle prodder thing. Hang on.
Great movie. I think they filmed There Will Be Blood in the same town.
This one's pretty good. It's. He's got to grow the hair out a little bit more.
If I grow the hair out a little bit more, yeah, I see it.
The suppressor on that thing,
Look,
jeez.
I have a beautiful wife. He has a beautiful wife. We both managed despite old rotting faces and crazy hair.
This is not my beautiful wife. How did I get here?
Incredible.
All
I'm
right.
gonna have to watch that movie now. Dang.
All right, let's bring on Jeff. Jeff's here.
Jeff, are you there? Oh my goodness, I'm checking Twitter. I got the Candace retweet today, and that just, I can't find anything now that I was looking for earlier. Candace is on a warpath. I'm digging it. I like people asking questions. Like I was saying the other day, I'm enjoying people asking questions. This is too crazy of a story to not ask these questions, and it's unfortunate. Corn Pop says about needing a beanie. Shane needs a beanie. I wore one on IRL a few times, and it always felt uncomfortable to have more than one beanie in the room.
I used to rock a beanie all the time back in the day.
But when you're in the room with Tim and he's got a beanie, it just seems like this is beanie overload.
Yeah, it's just like Tim just owns beanies in general now. Even
He's
though he doesn't.
monopolized the beanie. Yeah. And I like my beanie.
It's fine. I was like, I'll stick with my flat bills. It's fine.
Cisco, Blood Meridian, though. Make that book into a movie. Good luck. Great book. Have they not tried that into a movie? I can't imagine that being a movie. I don't think it could. But they've made Thomas Pynchon movies and books into movies, and I thought Inherent Vice was really good.
Jeff, are you
Did I
here?
make it?
Sound. What's up? You're here. You made it.
I don't know. It glitched out, dude. It fucking glitched out.
It's the portal. You know how it is.
I saw it happen.
You saw it happen?
Yeah, Shane.
What's up?
The hair thing. I used to take. I used to not take, but I used to apply minoxidil to my scalp follicles.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Just stop using shampoo, dude.
I don't.
Like, I'm not
I don't.
kidding.
Yeah, I shower once a year. I'm good. Nah, dude. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna go bald. Like, I'm not really worried
You're
about
gonna own it?
I'm just. It's just. I'm not gonna add to it. I'm not gonna try to do anything. I'll wear a hat every now and then, but I'm just like. It is what it is. I'm
Shane,
a
I will
father.
have the most respect if you do a full-blown horseshoe when that time comes.
It'll be wild. My dad did have that. So it's either I'm gonna get that, or he does have that, or my grandfather had kind of what I've got, but way thinner. But he was able to like comb it back, and it looked all right. But you know, something when I was younger, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna lose my hair, and that's gonna be crazy. But like, and at first I was like, that stinks. But now I really, you know, it is what it is. It's part of life, and I've got my family, and the gnarlier I look, the better it'll be, I think. Maybe not for you guys, but out there in the world, you know, just looking gnarly.
It's called total twink death. You got to kill the twink and just become like a gorilla.
Yeah.
But embrace it, you know, embrace that you're just an ugly machine meant for doing work.
Cody B said Shane looks like he only showers once a year.
So that guy, the previous guy,
yeah,
talking about like testosterone counts and stuff like that. Yeah. I have a little theory because it's gone down basically. I think like 1910 was the peak or something like that.
Okay.
And right after that, World War I happened. So I think all the high testosterone guys have just been dying off in the never-ending wars that the Western world has been in for the entire time since then.
Dang, that's a good point too. That's a good point too. I mean, you can even go Civil War. We can go through every war of mass male death and what that does.
You guys forgot yellow dye number 5.
It's the brave ones, you know?
Right.
Yellow dye number 5, man. Do you remember that? That was like one of the biggest things
Mountain
that we were
Dew.
told is like, hey, just drink Mountain Dew and you won't get anybody pregnant.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty
Correct.
sure
They
our
used it as a
generation
contraceptive.
farmed Mountain Dew for everything that it was worth for about 10 years before we stopped.
When I played basketball, I existed with Surge, the drink.
Oh,
Surge.
not the producer.
Hell yeah,
Oh,
dude.
man.
I'm sure that was only yellow number 5. Was anything
man.
else in Surge?
Yeah, I'm going to look into the fall of Surge and where it went because it just was gone just as fast as it was here. There were no explanations whatsoever. And
it was a drive-by on your nuts.
Yeah, it really was. And yeah, that and Octo Cooler, I want to find out. I think it's just because they're not doing Ghostbuster movies anymore. But oh my God, was Octo Cooler amazing?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Man.
I think they did a Ghostbusters movie like last year, and it was just terrible, and so nobody cared.
Yeah, well, hopefully they do another terrible one so that they bring back Octo Cooler because I need that in my life. But I digress.
What else you got for us, dude?
I would say you were talking about like the war on the family and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you combine these things, right? Feminism, I think, may have been originally started to just generate more taxes, right? Get women in the workplace.
Yeah.
But and then it just digressed into what it is now, fighting for rights that people already have. and things like that. And it really, like I said, it's at this point, like I'm a feminist. I'm a traditional feminist. Like, should women have the same rights as men? Of course they should.
Oh,
except for voting.
No,
but
come on. What are you saying?
I said no voting.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, we can agree there.
And I'll digress to Andrew Wilson's force doctrine with that one.
Wow.
We are benevolent just for the fact that we don't beat you up every day. That's basically what he
says.
I don't know why I did that.
Is that a quote or what? No.
Sounded like him, actually.
Do I do a good Andrew Wilson?
It was pretty
Should I
good.
smoke a cigarette while I do it?
Literally just gonna say, is there a cigarette in your hand? That's awesome.
There's a cigarette of sorts.
Oh, wow.
It's a cigarette by definition. Anyway, yeah. So, you think Three Eye Atlas is real, or is that a like what was it? Tim Dillon had a thing that like as soon as people start waking up, as soon as people start seeing, as soon as people start having this like religious revelation, they're like, hey, we might not be alone. You ever think of that?
Yeah, that was a great episode.
Did you see that clip?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah. That's one of the few things I watch. I look forward to Tim Dillon episodes. They're hilarious. I don't know what it is. It seems like it's just another fear ritual that they're forcing us to go through, and maybe they'll turn it into something. I really don't think it's anything, but it is 2025. So many strange things have happened. I do believe in things like Project Bluebeam. I also believe that they've kind of warped Bluebeam into something else, more psychological, not like a big spectacle. But maybe Atlas will become a spectacle. It already kind of has. It's got new headlines every day almost. But people are fighting over it. Is it a craft? Is it not man-made? Is it extraterrestrial? Is it just a comet? It's acting weird. It's nuclear powered. It's giving off its own light. It's got mini probes on it. I mean, who knows?
right. That's weird shit to be coming from a Harvard scientist. And then meanwhile, you have the elites building like underground bunkers at an alarming rate. I don't know. Like, I think Donald Trump is real. It was the first, what perked my ears up initially was that Alex Jones liked any president ever. And, then I paid attention. So like maybe he is a monkey wrench in their gears and they're shitting their pants right now. But if they are shitting their pants and they're cornered, what does a cornered animal do? It acts erratically.
Right.
So like, is there anything that they won't try to pull off, whatever situation X may be, whether it's like a fake alien invasion or they like, harp the core of the earth to make, every volcano go off at the same time or whatever.
Literally anything's possible. I've been saying this for years. They were willing to shut the world down. They shut the world down 5 years ago. Like that's not like we all experienced it and we're still going through the consequences of it.
Just willingly. It seemed like they wanted to.
They wanted to, and they
were
destroyed
like, yeah,
humanity.
we're doing this. This is great.
They couldn't wait. They even planned for it openly before they did it. So I was worried. Speaking of Alex Jones, I said this on InfoWars like 2 or 3 years ago. I'm like, what will be the next thing? Because if they were willing to shut the world down, and this all happened. Like Epstein himself or whatever happened, went into witness protection. And not too long after, the world shut down. And it's just two massive things. And then, so what's next? And it was kind of assassination attempt. So what Alex said was they're going to try to kill Trump. And then they did try to kill Trump. And then we see these assassination attempts. And is it going to be a blue beam event? I don't know. Anything's like, there's nothing off the table. They could do anything. And I don't think they're, like what you're saying, I think is exactly right. They're a desperate animal. I've been kind of comparing it to how Ted Bundy was when he was eventually caught. And after years of doing, his things in the shadows and getting away with it, when he was caught, at the very end, he was just like a desperate animal. And he took that log and he started bashing these poor women's brains in Florida. And it's terrifying. But that kind of is how the government is. They seem like they're cornered and, if Trump is the wrench, but I do have my reservations about this administration right now. But I like to think they're trying to do the things they promised us, but I don't see it yet. I know they're doing some things I do like. Cash is there are predators getting off the streets. I do like ICE, but Agenda 47 is pretty important. That was obliterating the deep state. That was a major promise.
Midterms are coming up quick.
Right. It's right around the corner. So they got to do these things. And Agenda 47 is really important. Because that is the deep state, which I think we can all agree on, is a thing, this invisible network of bureaucrats that are forever trying to weaponize the government against us and any politician who's trying to do any good. That has to be dismantled. That is the thing that Epstein was a part of. That is the thing that would lead to the incompetence that allowed Butler shooting to happen. Who knows what's going on with Charlie? My feeling is that it is something much larger. So they got to start doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because it's getting real scary, and they've kind of set the groundwork for like a few different scenarios, and everybody who knows everything is saying be prepared. I just got to say, Tim Dillon, though, I am dubious about him because, like, he was an Enron guy. He was, like, involved in that.
Yeah.
And then he went straight to being a stand-up comedian.
Was
who
he
was, like,
actually
super successful?
Was he actually an Enron, or is he just wear the hoodie? I don't know that story.
Yeah, I don't know the full story. I've heard him mention it publicly, though, is that, like, yeah, he worked for Enron when Enron happened.
Well, that's interesting.
Like,
yeah, he's interesting to me. I like him. I think he's really, really funny. But, you know, he's had dinner with JD Vance, and it's like, whatever. But, you know, obviously they're trying to get certain bigger names on board with him, like the whole podcast circuit they did with Theo Vaughn and all those guys. And, but I do like how Dylan put it afterwards, after he had the dinner with Vance and after he had been invited to have dinner with Peter Thiel. And according to Tim Dillon, he said he didn't do it. And he said, like, having dinner with these people makes it harder for him to make fun of them. And I respect that. Because I think some of these guys don't have the thickest of skins, you know. Thiel certainly doesn't. I know people. Alex Stein has been very public about making fun of Thiel, and then he has people call people at the Blaze to give him grief over that, and that's ridiculous.
and yeah, you can see Peter Thiel's pulse through his skin.
You can see like right
literally
here.
And figuratively.
Yeah, it's right on his forehead. Well, that's what happens when you're a vampire. You're kind of like pumping blood through your body, your corpse body all the time.
He looks like he just got regenerated in a pot. He looks like he has a third eyelid. All right.
Yeah. He's a reptile.
All right, I'll let you guys go. I've been here long enough. It's probably getting pretty close to bedtime.
Thanks, man. Close to bedtime. It's always good to hear from you, man. Have a good night.
You too, man.
See you, buddy.
Let's try to get another caller in here before we dip out for the night. Carol says, I thought Tim was a mortgage loan officer too. That I do know. Those stories are hilarious from Long Island. Yeah, someone else says, MF Daniel says he was a subprime mortgage guy when the whole thing happened, not Enron. Yeah, I don't know about the Enron thing. I do know he's like worn the hoodie or something. But yeah, I don't know. Holographic Sweater says Alex Jones' dad was DOD.
What's up, fellas?
He's talked about that. Interesting. He also has a lot of people at NASA. He knows. What's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
How are you guys?
We're good. We're good.
What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot, man. The one thing that I wanted to touch on tonight was like, okay, so I talked about the quantum philosophy stuff the last time I called in.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, you weren't here the last time that we were talking about that. But you might have been in the chat or whatever listening. Imagine that these like yogis and stuff, they were like handing down like kind of like a philosophy of sorts that like they were the words that they were saying kind of transcended time itself. So like we use especially the Messiah's words today to help us better understand how to approach situations or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's like why people, I think, use it like, you know, like as a guidebook type thing. And that's where that comes from. Like, I used to think that like it was just like a book that we would use to like help ourselves be better people or whatever it was. But what I came to realize is like it was deeper than that. Like the layers of how deep the Bible actually goes is it's unbelievable, honestly. Like,
yep.
Take for example, you know how God says, let the earth do these things. Let the earth bring forth grass or whatever it was, the verse. I can't remember.
Are you talking about Genesis?
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, just like defining the word let. So like we know like what let means. You're letting me speak right now.
Mm-hmm.
But by doing that, you by definition are giving me permission to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys like have seen the South Park episode where like the fleas, or not the fleas, the oh crap, what are they? The lice are in the kid's hair, and like they're alive and stuff, and they're like living a life
Mm-hmm.
on
Yeah.
on the kids.
Right.
Well, if you scale that up to us, it's kind of like the same thing like we're doing on Earth right now, kind of. And I think that's where like a lot of the people who are trying to save the planet kind of get their idea of wanting to save the planet comes from like that idea that we should like conserve what we have,
the
or
Dominion
whatever.
mandate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to that let thing. That let thing is important because like what God was doing in that moment was basically like from the way that I interpret it, he was saying that the earth is alive. Like in a sense of like God let the earth do the thing, but like that just meant that he gave the earth permission to do it. It didn't mean that the earth had to do it. So it was given the ability to, and it chose to do the things that we now like have, like water and all that crap, but or like not water, but
You're making it sound like he gave Earth itself free will.
yeah.
Right, or like
Yeah.
the planet itself is a giant living organism.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Yeah. That's the way that I view it, and that's why they worship Saturn in the way that they do. They think that it's a giant like living entity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they think, well, the Saturn worshippers, yeah, they think that the hexagon, that cube that you see on Saturn, that represents like the container, right, of life, of existence, and that you can contain it, which is very much connected to the idea of materialism and the material world being contained.
Right.
And it shows up in
totally.
it shows up in other religions, you know. You see it
Yeah.
in Islam circles cube. I think Orthodox Jews maybe wear a cube. We see cubes everywhere. It's literally everywhere.
Basically, I think that's all just like quantum physics worship that like got changed over time, honestly. Because like if you look at like all the architecture over in India and stuff, it's like cymatics and stuff like that, where like they were like basically worshiping the wave function of like
frequencies,
reality, if that makes sense.
Yeah, cymatics is crazy and ancient, and they've been looking at that for a long time.
Well, like so in the background, like okay, so like that's where I believe like they were getting their idea of worshiping the universe itself. So like even the ancients didn't understand that there was a God sometime like outside of time, space, and matter. So like they couldn't and like that's why, in my opinion, like God spoke the universe into existence, right? Well, that was like the first like it's like the Big Bang. Like if you've ever seen Dogma, how they present whatever her name is in that show, and when she speaks, it's just a giant boom of like whatever.
Right.
His voice could have like brought us into existence, and like they use that that's like where the start of the India or like the Hinduism stuff is, where like it's like that God oh crap, I think it's Indra, that the net of jewels, yeah, Indra's net of jewels is a metaphor for quantum physics and the start of like the universe. So like they were worshiping that thing, and then like even in between dimensions. So like those in between dimensions are where like the people were talking to, the entities that we know now as like the fallen angels or whatever they are, and the UFOs and stuff like that.
So before we end this up, I want to go back to something I think very important that you said, and maybe you can peel this back just a little bit for another minute. Words transcending time and how important that is. Because I mean, you were talking about God speaking the world into existence, you know, and then what is it, Mark? Is it Mark that starts with in the beginning was the Word?
Yes,
right?
exactly,
So
exactly.
So you know, this is
and the Word was God, and the
right. This is
yes.
this is very important.
Dude.
So when you say
bro.
it like when you say it like that they transcend time, they transcend space and time. Word, like this is very important. This is why
that's a quantum philosophy. Right there.
So like you're applying the quantum physics to it, and like I'm applying just this idea that storytelling, although I'm not saying this is fiction because I believe in it, but I'm saying the idea of passing these stories down and how important it is a form of like keeping that creation alive. And
Correct.
It is incredibly, because stories can be immortal. It's why people attack ideas, you know, because ideas to kill someone is to stop, you know, when you assassinate someone, you want to go down that route, you want to kill their ideas. Their ideas are a danger, they're a threat to everything
they're
else.
like nukes, bro.
Right, and then
like
if we're going to talk about
people.
Charlie, he was literally talking about the gospel, and you know we can talk about the apostles and all that stuff, but like it is literally about sharing words, sharing stories, and there's so many instances within the Bible, not just in creation, not just with Jesus, all throughout Old Testament, New Testament, about just what words can do, and it's incredibly powerful what just 3 words can do, 1 word can do.
Yeah, dude. Information theory. So like at the very base level, like Jesus couldn't tell us about supernatural things he said or whatever, because of the fact that like we couldn't even fathom the miracles that he was doing. But in reality, like he was telling us, I don't know if we can do the same things that he could, but I think he was manipulating reality like with quantum physics. Yeah. So like he was using the material world to like fix people or like heal them or whatever, or even just the words. So like the words themselves are quantum physics. When you really like break it down, my dad calls it like splitting hairs.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, it's like it's interesting because I think so much of science today is trying to replace God, but science should be the way of trying to understand God's creation. So you applying the quantum idea to this is interesting, but it's like that's kind of like what I would think of as the old school science of we're trying to look at creation through the lens of like just our human, you know, prisms that we've got, and
the only way that we could understand fundamentally the properties of how reality is and how we should like interact with everybody else in the world, because every interaction is literally like a quantum connection that you're making with someone else, depending on how you view reality and just interact with them.
A lot of positive and negative charges. Do you want to add anything before we head out?
No, not at all. I just love dropping truth bombs with you guys. I appreciate you guys very much for allowing me to speak.
Awesome, man. We appreciate it. It's good hearing from you again. Have a good night.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, you guys too. Thanks.
Awesome. And I think I said Mark. I meant to say Matthew. I'm dumb. But that was fun. You guys are great. Did we miss any chats? Anything going on? Renee, you know, I got someone who's going to be reaching out to you to follow up from last night. So look out for that. I've been thinking about you, praying for you. thank you guys for sticking around with us. Thank you for being here. It's the best. It's the best chat around. It is hilarious. You guys crack us up. Brandon, where can the people find you?
As always, you can find me at Brando Inverted on X and Insta. Thanks to all of our callers. Thanks to everybody for hanging out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, follow the show. Let everyone know about us. And we're going to try to keep growing. We will be back tomorrow night for more weirdness. So tune in, 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you then. Shane, get us out of here.
You guys are the best. Hope you have a good night. Get some sleep. I hope I will. And we'll see you then. Later.